Hello and welcome to Evilcraft. So this is the ore you might find between 6 and 66. If we break it with an iron pickaxe, you can see we've got this crushed dark gem. So we can see basically we get dark gems and we get crushed dark gems, okay? So the first thing you actually have to do in the mod is you would put an apple together with a dark gem to get a darkened apple. And what you would do is you would simply get a creature, you would right click with the apple, and then when you see a certain kind of like this sort of thing here, you just throw this in. Actually does, and you get the Origins of Darkness book. Okay, so that's and this is the book that you need for everything basically. So and there's various different ways to use it. Like this little top left button here is probably quite a good one to get back into the sort of like early sort of stuff. Just this little that little ball there. So this mod works on blood. So what you might want to do is get your dark gem, mix it with this, and get a spike, and then you can get a blood extractor. And you can see hold inventory when slaying mobs. So that way you're going to be able to get some more blood in the blood extractors. You can also combine the blood extractors and you can get a larger blood extractor, for instance. And there's ways to get, and so once you've got lots of blood, you might want to put it into a tank. So there's a tank over here, right? You can also, like, for instance, if I wanted to repair this pickaxe, I could also, you can see, repair the pickaxe like that with the blood. But you do need to have one of these sort of orb things, or if you want to use, or you can actually drain, because when it's in purple mode, for instance, here we have what's called a blood infuser. This tank is actually draining in, and you can sort of supply stuff from the. I just filled it up there, so you can sort of refill. You can, you know, take buckets out, that sort of thing. So if you did take a bucket out, incidentally, what you might want to do is just place it down on the ground, and then after a certain amount of time, it's going to turn into this, which is like a hardened blood bag. You just right click with the flint and steel and you're going to get these hardened blood shards. So these can be used to make the blood infusion core, and that's going to be used to make the blood infuser or the blood chest, which I just showed you before. So the chest is for the healing of the damaged items. There's a purifier as well, which is a bit later on in the mod. But yeah, so there's like but the blood infuser really is what you want to do. So what you might have, for instance, we just pop up here. What I've done is I've put something called I put these spiked plates. So yeah, you saw that thing with the spikes. This is actually used to make oops. This is used to make these things, the spiked plates with a weighted pressure plate. And then what you do is you put that on top of a sanguinary pedestal. So you've got a choice of two. Like if you wanted to make the dark power gems, it's just that hardened stuff in the blood infuser with some blood, right? So that's all you do for that. So yeah, you just would just put like a gem in here, and it will just go along, and it will make the hardened thing. We might want to actually so if we do want to refill it, we can obviously refill it from the tank. Let me just show you this thing first though. So yes, like I say, just this on top of the sanguinary pedestal, right? And then all that will happen basically, so if you have a load of mobs in here, I don't know if I can be able to show it properly. Yeah, but basically that tank underneath is filling up. So yeah, so you can take the input from the sanguinary pedestal, which is going to help it to fill up. So that's how you might want to get a load of blood. Another way, like I said, there's various different ways to get the blood. So yeah. Now you can also make this thing, the Exalted Crafter. You can see again, pretty simple recipe, and this will just let you have a mobile sort of crafting table. What about this tree? Well, it's the Undead Tree. So say you get a dead bush. Remember, I think you have to use shears to get dead bush, don't you? So you find one of those anyway. You might want to put that in here. And what that will do is that will turn into an undead sapling. And that will And once you grow that, you get undead. You obviously get undead planks from that, right? So with the undead planks, you may want to make something called a vengeance pickaxe, because part of the functionality of this mod is to do with vengeance spirits. I believe the beginning is vengeance, so you can attract them with the vengeance ring, right? So that's how you make the vengeance ring. And then the pickaxe is kind of combines that functionality. It's also got function 5, which is obviously very handy for getting crushed dark gems, because they don't come along too often, and the and there's various things that yeah. So I believe so you might want to make the vengeance pickaxe. And if you look at the vengeance pickaxe, you can see it's just basically items that we've just already seen, and that I think is a fairly good stop. One of the most important things that I will mention though is that this is actually an important in terms of the vengeance stuff, like these promises of tenacity and the bowl of promises. So this thing, right, was what you can put in the blood infuser, obviously, and you can actually store. So for instance, what I'm trying to say here is, like, I've got 148,000 LP. That this orb is actually entirely linked to my blood network. So whatever I'm doing here is I'll be able to use it in exactly the same way that I might use, either, so they're interchangeable, basically, the blood networks, which is really, really cool. And yeah, so what you would do is you would just you'd make the vengeance pickaxe, and then so for instance, if I had it on easy mode and turned it to nighttime, maybe, or night even, and you can start to see what might happen here, like so we can start maybe slaying some mobs with the vengeance pickaxe. You can see there's the spirit, right? So yeah, so pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that'll do for an intro anyway. Thanks for watching.